Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GinJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuga. Thanks so much for being here Wednesday, April 9th. We've got some Jaguars news, nothing huge, right? You have some number updates. You have players reporting to the offseason work that the Jaguars have going on yesterday, or they reported on Monday and got things going yesterday. We will have some media availability later today, so we're going to get to talk to some of the guys, Liam Cohen, and just kind of see how things are going, what the vibes are, vibe checks in the building. So that's exciting, but no real big news to talk about when it comes to this portion of the offseason program. They are able to start this a week early because of having a new head coach. So along with some of the rest of the teams in the league that have new coaches, they're getting in there and getting some work done. Nothing crazy, nothing even really football, right? But they are getting some work done. So we'll look at the numbers here today, and we'll also talk about what I think the Jaguars' strengths are right now. It's just over 2 weeks until the NFL draft, which is Thursday, April 24th, when it gets kicked off. Obviously, it's going to run through Saturday. You'll have round 1 Thursday night, round 2 and 3 Friday night, and then finish it all up day 3 of the draft. Finished up through round 7 on Saturday. So it's only 2 weeks away. It does feel like for fans, maybe it's a little bit of a dead period, just not a ton going on. But at least you do get to see players reporting, some fun little clips of that. Obviously, saw the hunt last week, but we're going to dive into the strengths of this football team. We've talked a lot about the weaknesses, areas that they need to address. We're going to talk about what are the definitive strengths and what could be strengths. Just based on the current group, not anything that they're going to do in the draft, just based on if they had to go play football right now, what would the strengths be? What could their strengths be? So really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out ginjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. So looking at the numbers real quick, Devin Lloyd is switching back to number 0, which was his college number. I think that's awesome. Get the vibes back high for Devin Lloyd. This is a big year for him. The Jaguars haven't announced yet whether they're picking up his 5th-year option for the 2026 season. So this could be a contract year for Devin Lloyd. It could be. In all likelihood, I think it will be. That's just kind of my prediction. We really don't know. We haven't had any indication either way what the Jaguars think about their current linebacker group, what they think about Devin Lloyd, how much they value the linebacker position. It is an expensive 5th-year option, just compared to linebackers around the league. Like off-ball linebackers, the 5th-year option, just the way the NFL has that is all screwed up. You know, linebackers and edges getting the same amount. So Devin Lloyd is wearing number 0. New cornerback, nickelback, whatever he may be, Jordan Lewis wearing number 2. De'Ami Brown wearing number 5. Nick Mullins wearing number 12, quarterback who came over from Minnesota. Gabe Davis switches back to 13, which is the reason that Devin Lloyd can wear 0. Gabe Davis 13, that's the number he was before he got to Jacksonville. Eric Murray, Jaguars' new safety, is going to wear 29. Chuma Edoga, who's going to be a swing tackle, depth tackle, wearing 55. Patrick McCary, who we don't have official word, but he's probably going to be the Jaguars starting right guard. Patrick McCary wearing 65. 73, Robert Hainsey. He's going to be the Jaguars starting center as of right now. 74, Fred Johnson, who is also competing as a backup offensive lineman. Johnny Munt at 81, Hunter Long at 84, and Louis Rees-Zammit 89. So those are the new number updates for your Jacksonville Jaguars as of right now. Obviously, those are subject to change. I don't know if you want to go out and buy any of those jerseys anyways, quite frankly, unless you're just blowing a lot of money on jerseys, because none of these guys is guaranteed to be around a super long time. De'Ami Brown, a 1-year deal. Devin Lloyd could be the final year of his rookie deal. Jordan Lewis is on a 3-year deal. There's a 2-year out. Nick Mullins. None of these are jerseys I don't think that anybody is running out to buy unless you're a family member or anything like that. Maybe the rugby fans going to get Louis Rees-Zammit. So getting into the Jaguars' strengths and weaknesses, which is what we're focusing on here, or strengths, excuse me, just the Jaguars' strengths, what we're focusing on here today. The definitive strengths. I hate to say it, but I don't think that there are many definitive strengths of this football team. I do think that there are a lot of areas that could be strengths with the current group. Those areas could also be more average. We just have to kind of wait and see how it's going to play out. But the definitive strengths, I think offensive coaching, just play design, play sequencing, pre-snap identification, communication, all that is going to be a lot better this year. The offensive coaching is going to be a strength of the team. It absolutely is. I think special teams coaching and special teams play is going to be a strength of the team. Heath Farwell, wonderful special teams coach. You've got maybe the best group of specialists in the league. Looking at Cam Little going into his second year. Logan Cook, maybe the best punter of all time. I don't say that lightly. He certainly is one of the best. And then Ross Matisic, who's a Pro Bowl long snapper. And you've got a bunch of guys that are really good core special teamers on this football team still carrying over from the last regime. So you look at offensive coaching. I think you look at special teams. Certainly those are going to be strengths. From a personnel standpoint, when you're actually talking about offense, defense, there's not many definitive strengths. I do think the quarterback and wide receiver duo, quarterback one and wide receiver one, especially with Liam Cohen kind of dialing things up, I think that's a definitive strength. And I know there's Trevor Lawrence doubters out there. I know they're out there. I know some of y'all are going to be watching this video. That's okay. When Trevor Lawrence has been healthy, when he's been well supported, you've seen a magnificent quarterback. Easily top 10. Probably better. People really like to forget the run in 2022, the first 13 games of the 2023 season. And then I do think it was a little up and down early on in 2024 before he really got injured, but it wasn't. I think folks kind of, again, just misremember how it was going. He had a really good game against Miami, really bad first half against Cleveland, good second half overall, and played some good football, but again, got injured. So that's the biggest thing is kind of staying healthy. And this is now going to be his third offense. So making sure he's up to speed in that regard, which I think there's no reason to question. But look, the quarterback wide receiver duo and their skill sets, like Trevor Lawrence is an amazing deep ball thrower. Brian Thomas Jr. is really good getting down the field. And BTJ, there's no question he's a strength of this football team. Maybe the strength of this football team. I think his ability to be a 3-level threat is going to be really showcased this year, even more than, and they were feeding him down the stretch last year, basically because that's all they had. But I think that this quarterback wide receiver duo with this coaching is going to definitively be a strength. I'm willing to, kind of put my stamp down there, pound the table. Quarterback one, wide receiver one. That is going to be a strength of this football team. Feel very strongly about that. I think you can definitely say starting edge play is really strong. Like Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, they've been one of the most productive edge duos over the last couple years, whether you're talking about pressures, sacks, stops, making impact plays against the run, making impact plays all over the field, chasing plays down. Both of those guys just get the job done at a very high level on all three downs. And, Trayvon Walker still ascending at 24 years old. Josh Hines-Allen in his prime playing really good football overall for the Jaguars. I think you can definitely look at starting edge, and say that's a definitive strength. Now, you do need some edge depth. So I think you could put that in the definitive category, or you could put it in the could be strengths category, just kind of depending on how you're looking at it. Like the full room, maybe not a strength, but your starters, definitely a strength. And now most areas of the roster, that doesn't really matter, but defensive line, edge, you want to have a rotation. You want to have guys in there that can get the job done. I don't know that they have guys beyond Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker right now that can get the job done. I do expect them to address the edge position in free agency, in the draft. So that's one that I think after the draft you'll be able to say that's a definitive strength. I also think after the draft, the wide receiver group as a whole, you'll be able to say is a strength. But right now, you can definitely say quarterback, wide receiver duo, strength. Offensive coaching, strength. Special teams coaching and play, strength. And again, starting edge group, strength. So we're going to dive into the groups that could be strengths just based on the roster right now. First, got to tell you all about Underdog Fantasy. Do you ever watch sports and find yourself wishing there was a way to get into the game? Now there is with Underdog to play. Choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, i.e. points, strikeouts, touchdowns, and more. Y'all already know. I'm looking at my Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, always going higher on points for my guys. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using promo code DuvalDaily to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up, again, with promo code DuvalDaily. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus, Alabama and Nebraska, 90 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus, Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. So these are groups that could be strengths for the Jaguars. They could also be somewhat average. I think it will depend on coaching. I think it will be dependent on the coaches asking them to do things that they excel at. But we'll dive into it. Offensive tackle. I think Anton Harrison is hella talented. Really, really talented guy. I think Walker Little is very talented. I think when you've seen Walker Little play tackle, overall, very good results. I think Anton Harrison had a very promising year one. I think he got off to a little bit of a slow start in year two, but finished fairly strong. I thought he showed development in the run game, and he's always been a very talented pass protector. These are two guys, fairly young guys. Obviously, Anton Harrison going into year three. Walker Little, he signed a deal with the Jaguars mid-season in 2024, and he's only 26 years old, just turned 26, so he's a fairly young guy as well. I think with good coaching, good offensive design, playing to these guys' strengths, they could be a very, very good tackle duo, but you haven't really seen it consistently enough to say that that's definitely going to be a strength. I think it will be, but I think it kind of remains to be seen from a definitive standpoint. Tight end play. Evan Ingram not here anymore, which it stinks, and he's in Denver. Great situation for him in Denver, getting coached up by Sean Payton. I'm very excited for him. That's a guy that he did everything he could to excel in Jacksonville. Everything he possibly could. And so I'll be pulling for him no matter where he plays. Love Evan Ingram. But the Jaguars' current tight end room, I think, has a chance to be a strength based on the ascension of Brenton Strange, who is a talented football player. He brings it as a blocker in a big way. And I think he showed that he can be a good receiving tight end as well. A guy that you can move around the formation, that you can have as a space blocker, but then also be a really effective and efficient overall receiver. He doesn't put the ball on the ground as a receiver, right? Doesn't drop the ball much at all. He caught 40 of 54 targets last year, over 10 yards a catch. Decent yak guy as well. He can run through tackles. He can make you miss a little bit. He forced 9 missed tackles last year. So this is somebody who I think is ascending. Only 24 years old. Talented young football player. I think he's wired the right way. And then you also bring in Johnny Munt and Hunter Long, who as role-playing tight ends, I think will get the job done at a very high level as blockers. and guys who aren't a negative in the passing game, as James Gladstone put it. They're guys that are brought here to block, but then you don't want to be one dimensional when they're on the field. So you have to have the ability, like the requisite level of ability as a receiver. And I think both of those guys bring that. Really, this hinges on how well Britton Strange plays in 2025. And now, could they address tight end at some point in the draft? Yeah, I think they very well could. And that could potentially change the ceiling of this group. But as of right now, I still think it could be a strength. I think the starting defensive line as a whole, as it's currently constructed, could be a strength. But again, we've talked about depth. I think they actually have more interior depth than edge depth right now, just based on the fact that you have Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, and Devon Hamilton, and Jordan Jefferson still in the building. So if you just look at the starting defensive line, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker on the edge, Eric Armstead on the interior, which he is poised to have a much better year in 2025 than he did in 2024 for a number of reasons. Not coming off a major injury and playing his actual natural position, interior defensive line, creating interior penetration. That's the name of the game for Eric Armstead. And then whether it's Mason Smith or Devon Hamilton next to him, I think is really kind of dependent on situation. If you're just talking about getting a big run stop, you probably want Devon Hamilton in there. If you're talking about heating up the quarterback, it's probably Mason Smith. I think that's a defensive line that has a chance, with Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker playing at such a high level. If Eric Armstead gets anywhere close to what he was in 2023, a year in which he helped get the San Francisco 49ers in a big way to the Super Bowl, yeah. I mean, and then Mason Smith taking a step forward. Devon Hamilton was playing a little bit better down the stretch. So, yeah, I think that the starting defensive line could be a strength. And I think overall the defensive line could be a strength even with the depth after the draft. But as of right now, I would just say starting defensive line because they do need to add the rotational guys still, in my opinion. On the edge, probably another guy on the interior. And, Mason Graham could be – if you drop Mason Graham in there, that defensive line could be absolutely nasty. It could be really difficult to deal with. I think linebacker play could be a strength, right? Foye Oluokun is a strength of the football team. There's no question about that in my mind. But is Devin Lloyd going to be a strength? Is he going to be the starter for sure? Ventrell Miller, Chad Muma. I think the best possible outcome, because Devin Lloyd is the most talented guy beyond Foye Oluokun. He is more physically gifted than Ventrell Miller, Chad Muma, etc. I think the highest ceiling that they have is if Devin Lloyd kind of takes that step forward in consistency. And look, he makes a lot of big plays. He's a talented guy. If you have Foye playing at Foye's typical level and Devin Lloyd taking a little step forward in the consistency department, and maybe you're utilizing him a little bit better, utilizing that skill set better, making it clearer for him how he needs to execute, maybe that's a strength. I think it could be. I think running back play could also be a strength. You've seen Travis Etienne put up monster numbers in this league. You've seen Tank Bigsby have huge games. I think what you want to see more from Tank is ball security, pass pro. What you want to see more from Travis is pass pro and just kind of vision, making the right cuts at the right time. But these two guys are very talented backs. They absolutely are. I mean, you're talking about a first-round pick who was a consensus first-round, late first, early second-round guy in Travis Etienne. And then you're talking about Tank Bigsby, who I thought should have been drafted earlier than he was. And you've seen the flashes. You've seen why I thought that. Big, explosive, creative. I think that could be a strength, even as it's currently constructed. And then if you drop another talented rookie in there, yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. That could be a really good room. I think Liam Cohen knows that. So that's kind of looking at the potential strengths. I don't think the safety room is a strength right now. think that needs to be addressed. I don't think that cornerback is a strength right now. Even though I like Tyson, I like Jordan Lewis, I like Jarian Jones, I really don't know about outside corner opposite Tyson Campbell. I just don't. I don't think that, again, wide receiver right now is a strength. I think it could be. I think it probably will be following the draft. If you talk about having De'Ami Brown as wide receiver 3, adding a big-time talent in the draft, and then Parker Washington, Gabe Davis as depth, yeah, I think that room could be a strength. The interior of the offensive line could be a strength as well if addressed properly. I think right now it looks pretty average. McCary, Hainsey, Cleveland. I think it's serviceable. Is it going to be a strength with that group the way it's constructed right now? I have a little bit of a hard time seeing that, but it's possible. And that's kind of the whole team right now. Kind of a look at where I think the strengths are, the weaknesses potentially. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.